Did someone send one, or were you asking? Sarah?
Say that again? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Were you asking, did
I
someone?
asked if the town sent a letter. I sent a letter, but when we met last, we had talked about the town sending some type of you're out of compliance letter.
Oh, sent Tom out there, and he was waiting for the results of tonight's meeting, and he was going to send out a notice of violation on it. Okay. Trying to connect to the YouTube page.
Oh, Seamus decided to show up this meeting, huh?
I did. I made it tonight, huh?
Can't figure out how to get that little box to go in a sidebar.
Let's see here.
I figured I'd help you out with your technical difficulties, Todd.
Pardon me?
I said I figured I'd come in
Oh.
to help you with your technical difficulties.
Okay, I'm not experiencing any so far. So.
I heard last week went okay, though.
Yeah, it went okay.
Good, good.
I thought it went really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, considering there are about 60 hearings. So.
All right, it looks like
Yeah.
we have some attendees now.
Okay, I was trying to get it on. They wanted me to put this onto YouTube, so I'm just trying to get the instructions right on.
You
adding
know,
it.
Pete, I see where it says it's recording on custom live streaming service now.
Okay, so maybe it's all set. They just
So
kicked
it
me.
could
They kicked
be.
me to the YouTube page, so I was stuck on that. All right,
Okay.
so let's see. All right, so we got 3 people in the crowd. Okay.
So is Heather joining us? Do we know?
I haven't heard.
Let me text her. Days blend together. She may have forgotten.
I still have a little wheel spinning that says waiting. Does everybody else have that?
No, which, is that all you see?
No, I see you. I see me in the little corner, but I just have a wheel that keeps saying waiting.
Huh.
I don't know what it's waiting for Godot or something. I don't know.
Must be.
All right, I'll give Heather a minute or two. We don't need her. I mean, we have a quorum.
She's probably touching up that photograph.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there she is. I didn't see her.
Yep.
Okay.
So do you want me to read the little notice memo we have to do at the start of the meeting prior to
If you
getting
want
going?
to do that, but I can't remember, did we do that before I called the meeting to order or after?
I think it was at the start of the meeting, so.
All right, so then let me just call the meeting to order. So what's today? I'll call the meeting to order on April 21st. It's 7:04, and we don't need to seat anybody because we're all here. So then I'll let you read that memo, Peter.
Okay, this meeting of the Historic District Commission will take place in a webinar format through Zoom. The chair of the commission is Sarah Moriarty. The host of the webinar is the building official. Staff attending the meeting include Peter Zavinglis, Seamus Quinn, and Linda Galetta. Anyone speaking should state their names prior to speaking each time. The panelists in this webinar meeting will be the commission members and the building staff. Panelists who would like to comment on an item should indicate such by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. After a panelist raises their hand, they will be able to comment at one at a time when called upon by the chairperson. Panelists should mute their microphones until called upon. To make a motion or second a motion, commission members can raise a hand and be acknowledged by the host or chair. To vote on a motion, commission members will be called upon individually by the chair to vote. The public can participate in the meeting during the public communication agenda items. The public will be asked to raise their hand during public communications if they want to speak at this time by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. The public will be called on by the host one at a time, and they'll be able to speak during this time. Attendees must identify themselves before speaking.
All right,
And that
so thank you, Peter. So I'll take roll call now. Sarah Moriarty here, Heather Giannakopoulos. Heather, roll call.
She unmute?
Muted.
Here. Thank
Yeah,
you.
she's muted.
Brady,
How come
Here.
it's spinning and reading?
Levinson,
Here,
Goodman,
Here.
Summers,
and before
Absent.
there used to be a better
Valletta,
picture, but-
Here.
Live, so it's a big difference.
Zingalis.
Hmm.
I can't say your name. Peter Z,
Present.
and Seamus Quinn.
Here.
All right. So now, Todd, if you want to read the call.
Yeah, I can't find the call. Where is it?
It's actually, there is no call because they're all.
Oh, there, everyone's, okay,
Ah,
there we go.
Seamus, no technical difficulties there.
Yeah, there we go. That's
All
Pete
right.
doing it.
There is no call because everyone's continued. All right, so then we'll open public hearings and I will call HDC 20-15, which is the signage on 54 West Main. I do not believe he is here tonight. I don't think we can do anything on this, but continue it because we still don't have any resolution on the sign that's existing is not in compliance with what we previously approved. Any comments on that?
Sounds right.
All right, so we'll just move to the next matter and continue this once we do deliberations. So I'll now call HDC 20-19, Jill Mead, for the shed.
Yes, I'm here. My husband Tim is also here.
All right,
Everybody, how are you?
you have the
Hello.
floor.
Great. The last time Jill and I presented to you, asked to represent with more information about the materials being used in the shed that we propose to install on our home. We've provided that, I think, on the next couple of slides. There's one slide in particular that goes into some detail about what the materials were. That was the only question. We spoke a couple weeks ago regarding sort of what the needs were of the commission. So we've supplied that to you and hope that that satisfies the inquiries that you had about our proposal.
So this gives a breakdown of material here, I guess. Is this the page that we were looking at, Tim?
That's one, and I also gave you a new slide deck. I'm not sure the new one is incorporated in, yeah, it is here, and then it's on, maybe just scrolling there and you should.
Here we go.
There, right there.
So there's a picture of the brochure that was supplied to us by Fleming's, and then I just kind of blew it up into some bullet points, and I also then went into detail about a sort of a technical material that's a composite of wood, the Duratemp, in the event that the Historic Commission had questions about it.
Okay. So it looks like all of the materials are there. Does anyone have any questions or comments for the applicant?
None from me.
No.
I'm good.
I heard Todd and Don. Eric or Heather, do you have any comments or questions for the applicant?
I'm good.
No, no comments or questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Mead. And I don't think there's anybody in the audience other than us, but I'll ask if anybody in the public wants to comment for this application. Does anyone want to comment against this application? HDC 20-19 is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now we'll open HDC 20-20 for Latham Street. Are you there, Denise?
I'm here.
Okay. You have the floor.
Yeah, so after appearing 2 weeks ago, I was asked to present a rear elevation and a side elevation to show the placement of the windows. I didn't have the exact measurements of the second floor, so those I placed approximately. The bottom ones, we went 4 feet off the right, and then we went 7 feet so that they'd be somewhat centered into the 2 sections of the 20-foot space.
Peter, can you scroll back like 3 or 4 pages?
Yeah, I was trying to find that.
Sorry.
I didn't see the height.
There you go, right
This
there.
one, this one.
That's it.
Yep.
So the renovation is the correct placing.
Yes.
The
Yes.
note on the side is strictly referencing the top because you didn't take it.
Exactly.
Okay, excellent. And this was the piece that I believe we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any questions or additional comments for the applicant?
None from Don.
Todd,
No, I'm good.
Eric,
No,
Heather?
No.
All right, and none from me. Thank you, Denise.
All right. Thank you.
Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone like to speak against this application? HDC 20-20 is closed. So we will open deliberations, and the first will be HDC 20. Actually, before I say that, I should comment, for this next piece, only the staff and commission members can speak. So deliberations on HDC 20-15, this is the 54 West Main Street signage, and I move to continue this application.
Second.
I'll do a roll call for a vote. Sarah Moriarty, aye. Giannakopoulos,
Aye.
Brady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Goodman.
I,
This application is continued. Quick question, Linda, Peter, or James. What's their deadline for this particular application?
So, so actually the governor has extended 65 days. So this was originally, let's see here, May 7th originally.
Okay,
So it would have had to have been acted on at your next meeting, which is
Okay.
May 5th. I'm pretty sure.
the only thing about that extension though is technically either the applicant or the board needs to execute the right to extend it.
Yes,
It's not just an automatic extension.
you're right. That's right. Yes, thank you.
so at our next meeting, we need to reference that. Is that what I'm understanding from you, Eric?
Well, either we need to elect to extend it to give them an extra 65 days, or they need to elect to extend it. Or if we do nothing, then it's just voted no.
Gotcha.
By
No,
default.
if you do nothing, it's a yes. So,
Oh.
so that's why you do have to take action.
Okay.
And Deb Jones went over this with me, and then I didn't keep all the details in my head, and I apologize for that. But there's a way where you can get the 65 and then another 90 if it ever came to that. And I forgot which way that is, whether it's the applicant extension or I think it starts with the applicant. We can give them 65 days and then an additional 90 if necessary. But I would definitely, I would have to go over that with her. And I can talk to her tomorrow and let you know for sure, Sarah.
Okay, thank you. I mean, hopefully it won't come to that, but we'll just have to remember to make that election at the next meeting. Okay, so HDC 20-19, 8 Elm Street, Mr. and Mrs. Mead, this shed. Any comments or motions?
Move to approve.
That was Don, Linda.
Second,
Thanks.
Brady.
All right. Any comments before I take a roll call? No. Moriarty, aye. Giannakopoulos.
Aye.
Brady.
Aye.
Levinson.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
The application is approved.
2264. That'll be the number.
You got that, Linda?
I got that. Thank
Okay. HDC 20-20 for Latham Street, the exterior enclosure. Any comments or motions?
Move to approve.
I second. I'll take a roll call. Moriarty, aye. Giannakopoulos.
Aye.
Brady. Levinson.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
The application is approved.
2265.
All right. So I guess we would move into pre-application hearings, but I don't even know if we're going to have those anymore. And I don't see anyone waiting. Oh, wait. There is someone, there's a Chris waiting, or is an attendee.
He's an attendee.
Yep.
Oh, that was Tim and Joe.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Nope, there we go. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, this is,
I think that's 54 West Main.
yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Hey, all right.
Hi, Chris. So we actually, I apologize. We continued your application because I didn't know if you were there and we weren't sure what else to do. Do you, now that we have you, do you have an update on what's going on, or are we still at status quo?
Well, as far as I know, we're still at status quo. I believe I didn't have any actions to follow up. I thought you guys did still.
So I believe I wrote another email, and I believe Peter was saying that, was it Tom had gone out?
Yes.
And was gonna.
He's going to be writing up a notice of violation. He's going to be sending it out this week.
Right. So what we did was continued the application in the hopes that there might be some movement.
Based on that letter that's going out.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Did Chris, did you hear our discussion about the extending deadlines?
Yeah, I did. I caught that, yes.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions?
I'm sorry. I guess Sarah didn't hear back from Lori Fine and Chris, so I don't know if you've spoken to her after the last meeting, but.
I have not, no.
Okay, because she's clearly going to have, I guess, get a hold of us for us to move forward on this, right, Sarah?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that the process would be the applicant needs to come back, and the applicant was Shutters and Sales, and they need to either correct their sign or request that we approve their existing sign, which we'll have to decide if that's something that we want to do, which if they blatantly disregarded what they submitted in the first place.
Right.
So
I can put up the minutes of the meeting from last time where it discusses that.
Hey, Linda, do you think you could send out the minutes from that original meeting again, like you did for the other one? Because that was helpful to go back to it. Or not the minutes, I'm sorry, the drawing or whatever it was from that original meeting.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I pulled it out for Tom earlier. What is today? Tuesday? I wasn't here yesterday, so it must have been the end of last week. I pulled it out for Tom, and I was amazed at the difference. Yeah, so that's easy enough, sure.
Okay.
So Peter just highlighted what the minutes were, and that's what we've done, and we're still in this limbo place.
Right.
So I mean, we'll keep at it, Chris, but unfortunately, there's not much we can do for you right now.
Okay.
Is there anyone for you to apply any pressure to? Because the reality is they just need to come to us. It's not that complicated.
No, I know. I know.
Because I feel bad for you. It seems like you're caught in the middle.
Well, I can go back to my client and see if they can't put a little more pressure on these people to try and get them here and get this resolved. So I'll take that as an action to do that. See what I can do from my end.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. All right. So we left off on pre-application hearings, but I believe there are none. So then we have public communications. None? Peter?
Nope.
Nope.
I have none.
None? Okay. Approval of the minutes from April 7th, 2020.
I move to approve.
I
Second.
Oh,
Whatever.
Don seconded, Linda.
Got it.
So Moriarty, aye. Jenna
Aye.
Grady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Any old business?
Seamus, do you want to discuss the one down on?
Sure. So 14 for Rachel. It was approved, not exactly when it was approved for HDC, but it was a permit back in December for a detached garage. They've kind of changed what the original plans were that you guys approved and what we approved. They've added some windows and they kind of changed the side door from instead of a French door style to a single door style. And then also the pitch of the roof has changed. I don't know if that's anything major, just a little different than what they submitted to you guys and to us. I just don't know. I'd imagine they're probably just going to have to come back in and just kind of submit some new plans for their changes, because it's really just exterior. It's nothing structural or building material wise. They've pretty much kept everything the same. It's just really just look and yeah. So
I think
about it.
I think Eric, isn't that the one you brought up last meeting or 2 meetings? Or I think it was last meeting you brought up for us to look into that one.
I think Todd
Yeah,
brought it
I
up. but
brought it up.
Or Todd brought it up. Okay.
But the email I got earlier in the week, which showed, I didn't actually see an email that had the plans, the original plans that we approved in it.
So Linda forwarded it, and perhaps, I'm just trying to get to my email. Somehow I closed it.
Todd, I'm gonna just forward it to you right now.
Okay, because I got an email, but it was the tax cards and stuff,
Same.
but I didn't see any plans.
Neither did I.
I think you just have to scroll down.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm trying to do that now.
I just re-forwarded it. Heather, I'll send it to you too.
You know what? It could be because I had this problem myself. When I scanned it, it went to TIFF instead of, I guess, PDF. So, or
Oh.
JPEG. So that may be why you can't go to any further than the first page.
I couldn't before, but I have it now.
Oh, you do? Okay, good.
So prior to this email, prior to the meeting, Eric had forwarded me photos, which I forwarded to everybody else.
Okay.
So if you look at the emails compared to the plan, it seems much taller. What happened?
Yeah, Seamus, is the height different? Because the
So what I was told is that they changed the pitch of the roof, not the height of the building. I mean, I have yet to be out there and really take any measurements to actually see. I mean, the original plan calls for being the peak to be at 22 feet, 10 inches. I don't know if it's just the angle of the roof is making it look taller than it actually is on the plans. Like I said, I haven't been out there yet. This has kind of been a ongoing project between builders, 2 different builders. So it's kind of been in a little bit of limbo for the past couple months.
Does anyone know what month that was? I could kind of pull up the.
The permit was
I'm
the
sorry,
permit.
excuse me. It got approved November 19th of 2019 by HDC.
Okay.
Yeah, and the permit wasn't pulled till the 21st, the 2nd, I'm sorry, of December 19th.
All right, so let's see if we do this right
And
here.
and you guys have pictures of what it looks like now compared
Oh,
to
yeah.
the plans? Okay, okay.
It does not look like.
I took a little drive by there today because of it. So just
Yeah,
making sure
Seamus,
that everyone's on the same page.
it's got to be at least 25 feet because if the
And that's Eric, I'm thinking the exact same thing.
because
I
if you
mean,
count,
that was from
sorry,
that was from the builder that was saying that it was, you know, they just changed the pitch, they didn't change the height, but
No,
I thought the same
one
thing when I
before
went
that,
by.
because I just counted the clapboards. So if you just, I'm assuming it's a 4-inch exposure. It could be 5. If it's 5, it's taller.
It's taller. Yeah.
Well, it's at least, at least 25 feet from counting the clapboard.
Right. Right. And it's almost with the same plane as the existing house there, which is definitely close to 30 feet. So
The other thing too is it's the windows. I mean, it looked like when we approved it, it looked like it was supposed to be a garage or a barn type of thing, and now it looks like a full.
Right. It almost looks like
area.
Correct. It almost looks like they added the second floor looked to be almost a, half knee walls, where almost it looks like now that they're getting away with a whole second floor on it.
Which, I mean, does it comply with all the zoning pieces too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zoning's not an issue with that. Here's the HTC 14 Fort Rachel Place. This is the discussion. Can everyone see that?
So can anyone see me? Because my screens both just went completely black, but I'm afraid to do anything because I'm afraid
I
I'll
can
get shot.
see you fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
I can hear you. I just can't see anything. So
Does
I'm
anyone-
seeing it.
Can everyone see that? The screen I brought up?
With the,
Yes.
with the approved plans, you mean, Peter?
No, with the HTC 19-45. Do you see that?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone had a chance to read that? Scroll down to the consideration.
Yes.
Oh, it looks like it was just, there we go. Straight down the line, yeses.
I mean,
2238.
So I can't see what you're looking at, but what he built isn't what was approved.
right, it doesn't really matter
Correct.
if we approve that.
Right.
It's not what's he
Correct.
got
Correct.
a-
Yeah.
So he'll have to come back in. We should just contact him and tell him he's got to come in for another.
He's got to either amend it and hope that he gets approved, or he's got to build what was approved.
Right. And it's pretty far along in the project. So
The problem I think is that the people that are upset about it are most likely his neighbors, which probably feel uncomfortable stating so.
Right.
And the reality is the mass of it is significantly more than what he presented.
Right. Was
he built.
100%.
So I guess the best we could do is have him come in, have the owner come in with the proposal showing the new, what he actually built, and see what happens.
What he actually built and how it compares to what was approved height-wise
Right.
and whatever else. I mean, I think visually you can see the changes in the
Right.
elevations.
Right.
Can you make him do like an as-built or something to show it?
Pete, I don't know what's the.
What were the prints that were submitted for the permit? They were the ones from the original, right?
Correct. I have the original prints from the permit, and they match exactly what they submitted to HDC.
So when you went out to do the inspection, it wasn't built according to what was there.
I did a footing and a foundation wall inspection, and I haven't had a phone call till today.
So maybe the best thing we could do is continue this to the next meeting, have Seamus go out, write up a report on it, and bring it back to you for next meeting.
That sounds
Yeah.
reasonable.
Well, they're going to have to come back with something anyway, or because they're out of compliance.
Right, but it makes sense to
Right.
have Seamus write a report saying they're out of compliance.
The other thing, Seamus, is that whole thing's sheetrocked. I mean, there's a whole pile of sheetrock sitting in
Well,
there.
it's not. It hasn't been. The downstairs walls haven't been done yet. So hopefully we're at. Because they called me today for a plumbing, electrical, and framing. And we had a little problem with the original building permit, so I kind of said that they had to square that away before I'd even go out there. They had a different. They started with a different builder on the permit than what they used. So we got that squared away this afternoon. So they're still looking for that inspection, I guess you could say, but I'm not really sure how to move forward with, I guess, HVC, and do we want to let them drywall it or insulate and drywall and keep continuing?
Well, it's like it's two separate entities. So what you got is you got the building side and you got the historical district side. So the building side, if he wants to continue at his own risk, that'd be foolish of him to do that, but he could technically do that. HDC in the meantime would have to have him come in for a resubmittal.
Right. I would agree that it would be foolish for him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can go out and do an inspection and then just say, listen, I highly advise you to go back to HDC before moving forward with anything else.
Correct. Yeah.
Because what was the problem, Sarah, the story you told me about someone not fixing
Oh,
it?
I was saying I just didn't want to have this turn into another Rod Desmarais issue where, he built something, the HDC said, no, we're not going to approve. He came back, building inspector went out, wouldn't give him a CO. He came back to the HDC to get an amendment to his original application. And the HDC said no, and it ended up in Superior Court. I just, it's a waste of money for everybody.
Right.
And that's what I think, if he does a report to see exactly how different it is from the original submittal.
Yeah, Seamus, out of curiosity, do you know, I mean, Mike's not naive, like what happened, just out of curiosity? Do you know?
I don't know. I know he had a little miscommunication with the original architect. I guess they have their own differences going on right now between what he used for submittal of plans and what he actually built. So I don't know if that is tying into what he actually built and the plans he submitted. Could be something to do with the architect. I'm not 100% sure.
And you say there was a different builder too?
Right. So we started with one builder, and after I guess something went on, that builder backed out, and he hired a new builder to come in.
Yeah, because someone chose to frame it differently. I mean, this isn't like a different choice in siding. Like they.
Yeah. No,
someone
I
made
mean,
like
yeah. They made
conscious
some. Yeah.
decision. Yeah.
Correct. Correct. But what, like, you know, I'm looking at the same plans you guys have, so, you know. Yeah, somewhere along the line it got changed, and I don't know how that got changed.
Probably just like that sign down in front of the old bank.
Same contractor, I think, too.
Yeah.
A little bit more of an expensive mistake.
Right? Okay. All right, so I guess we'll leave this as Seamus will write a report and we'll see what happens.
Perfect.
We want to try to reach out to the owner and see if he'll come in for a discussion, or because we don't have these pre-application meetings, I don't know how that works with the current Zoom status.
I mean, he could come in for a discussion. I really don't, and that might behoove him because I really only see this going two ways.
Right.
Either his amendment's going to get approved, which he's going to have to explain how he got from A to B. And that's assuming his neighbors don't come in and say, this isn't something that we're okay with. Or he builds what he said he was going to build. So he might want to come in and figure out which way to lean.
Right. Okay, so we'll reach out to him and see if we can get him in for next meeting.
And you guys know this, but I mean, that's not a cheap fix.
No, not at all.
No. But I mean, it's
No.
not, I mean.
No, but I don't know if you can force, I mean, I don't know if you can strong hand arm him to knock off 5 feet off his building.
Well, if he doesn't have a certificate of appropriateness, I don't believe he can have a CO. And if he can't have a CO, he can't sell his building ever.
Right.
So at some point he has to do something.
The problem is it's a, you know, yeah.
Is the footprint any bigger, or is it pretty much just the size?
Garage. No. The footprint's exactly the same.
Okay.
Just the size.
So it's just the height.
Height and style.
And that the materials were consistent with what's involved in the HTC district.
Siding looks good. Trim looks good. It's just windows, doors, and
the trim detail is different, but that's a discussion for another time.
Right.
But I think Seamus said, in terms of the Historic District Commission and our interrelationship with the building permit, I mean, if you come and get approval and you don't build what you say you were going to build, then in fact, if you take it to the ultimate extreme, you could be told to tear the thing down and start over.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's something that anyone would go around willy-nilly doing, but
right, no, 100%, 100%.
I mean, in other words, there was just pretty blatant disregard for what was approved.
This is a good learning curve, though, for us to kind of be realizing what you guys are approving and what we should be looking out for out in the field as to following the guidelines. And Peter had brought that up after you guys' last meeting, that, you know, we don't have too much in place of kind of following through with what you guys approve. And what, you know, to me, building inspector wise, yeah, everything looks great. You know, he did it all to code, everything meets its requirements, but as to HDC, you know, definitely a little different than what he built and what he submitted. So.
Especially if you send out a mechanical inspector to look at a mini split unit that we had a HDC approval on having a decorative piece going to cover it. That's not a code item per se, so they're not going to catch on to that. Yeah.
Right.
We have to have a better tracking system as far as when the inspectors go out, knowing to review that in the plan and file.
Right.
My guess is that he is expecting this to be brought up again. I mean, it doesn't look like the building he put forth, so I would assume that he knows at some point someone's going to catch on.
I think it's important probably to get the owner in here to give his take on it.
Right.
The other thing, though, it's just frustrating is it's so easy to come back and do this.
Right.
Like,
no, 100%.
At any point, you know, he had weeks between foundation and framing where he could have said, hey, I want to go a little taller. I want different windows. I want roof deck. I don't know, whatever the heck it is.
Well,
Like,
something should have been triggered in his head as soon as he tweaked what was the original plans. To be like, hey, this might not go through with HTC.
And he's been in front of the commission before.
Has he?
So, yeah, because I used to live 2 houses to the right of him, so I know him pretty well.
Okay.
But he was the one that told me the stories back in the day. So.
But coming back before the commission gives his neighbors an opportunity to say, hey, I don't really like that.
Right.
And they've been deprived of that opportunity. So.
Yep.
I have heard complaints that people on the street do think it's pretty big for the surroundings. Whether they'd be willing to come forward on the record and state that, can't tell you.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Well, the only approval we got so far is on the foundation, correct?
Yeah,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
I would definitely vouch for the foundation. Absolutely. Same footprint. Looks like all the distances are exactly what he said. It's just from foundation up has definitely changed.
So why don't we reach out to him, get him back before the commission and see where it goes?
That is a good point that Don made, though, which is it is tough because how do you get people to vocalize without starting a neighborhood battle?
Right. Well,
especially with someone that has a little power.
But the neighbors could wear masks because of COVID-19.
Valid point. All right. Anyone want to talk about this anymore or moving on?
So
ultimately, it falls back on us about, how concerned we are that people go beyond what they were approved for.
Well, we're following up.
And I'll get out there in the next 2 weeks and take a look, do a little report myself and report back, next meeting.
I'll try and get a hold of the homeowner and request him to come in before the commission next meeting.
Okay.
See if we can get him in here.
Very good. All right. Again, I can't see you guys, so I'm just going off my notes here. Is there anything else for old business?
Did we follow up with the signage downtown? I don't remember if we had the address, but
Oh, that's right.
54 West Main Street?
No.
No, this was the liquor store that changed hands.
Spencer and Lynn.
Spencer and Lynn.
Does anyone know them that can call them, or
Oh, I know.
you do?
I mean, on a business basis. But I don't know if we had a plan from 2 weeks ago.
It should be in our minutes because we did talk about it.
So, I looked it up and there was nothing specific. I didn't even have the name and we didn't have the address. We just did note that the liquor store had a new sign and needed HDC approval. And I noted staff was going to look into it. So 2 out of 3 is not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. All right. So we'll just work on this one next time and maybe we'll have a little bit more information.
And Heather, what is the name again of the liquor store?
It's Spencer and Lynn, but that's not their names. That's just the name of the store. I can send you their email address.
Okay.
If you want me to, Linda?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Did they just buy that liquor store? Did they buy the one in
It was a package deal for the Noack and the Mystic.
Yeah, they bought them together.
Okay. Any other old business? No?
Do you want their business or their resident address?
Did you do a search on that?
Eric's doing his detective work.
Linda, Eric has their residence address if you'd like it.
Oh, sure. I'll stop on the way home.
I'm gonna just email this to you, so I'm not.
Perfect. Yeah, you're not announcing it over live stream. That's great.
Oh, if they just go to the Secretary of State, someone else can find it too, so.
You know, I know that they came in to the office. I talked with them because I have a gift certificate from the old Universal Market. And I was saying, what do I do? And they said they would honor it. So I know that they've come in and touched base with us. I just don't remember in what regard it was. So I don't know. Oh, Spencer and Lane, okay.
They seem lovely, so I'm sure they will comply.
That's good.
I mean, it's probably just an oversight.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Are they from out of town?
Ivorytown, Connecticut? I don't know where that is.
It's near Essex, it's part of Essex.
Yeah, but
Mystic
River.
and Knowing, Spencer and Lynn, Wine and Spirit Merchants.
Concierge is spelled incorrectly in that ad, Peter. I would let them know.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cross that out.
Yeah.
All
We
I
also
said is to be
added their
delivered.
websites now.
They place a
I
group.
got it right that time.
Order online right now. Anybody stopping by on the way out?
The Noank one's not open.
They're
Oh,
closed.
yeah.
It's after 7.
Was that what it is?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think they've actually really opened the Mystic one either.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, the Mystic
Yeah,
one's open.
they're doing to. You can go up to the door there and put your order in.
But you can't like go in yet. It's like
No.
You can't go. Yeah, you can't go in it, but you can at least go to the door and order. I guess at the door.
If you know what you want, you call ahead on the phone.
Right. Yeah.
I ordered samurai noodle the other night and they left it out in the street. I thought that was interesting. It was on a chair in the front of the restaurant.
That's a little.
It's a learning curve. It's just a learning curve. Something changes every day. All right, new business, election of officers. We want to table this till next time. I also can't see everybody. Might not matter.
Let's table it.
All right. Any new business? No? Okay. I think that's it.
Cool.
Everybody good? Another successful Zoom meeting?
Yes.
I wish I could see you all. I'm just staring at a black screen.
It's strange.
Huh.
I can see my reflection in it. That's it.
Yeah, we can
It's
see
funny
you.
because
No
we
problem.
can see you, Sarah.
I don't know. Both
Yeah,
my
perfectly
screens
fine.
are completely black.
That has happened to me throughout the day, all day long. My screens
Really?
have just gone black.
It's just black. And I think the only way to fix it is to reboot it. And I
I
didn't
think
want to
so.
take that risk.
Right.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right. Well, hopefully I will have these technological difficulties resolved for next time. So I move to adjourn. I don't think anyone needs to second, so we're adjourned.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Good night, guys.
Have a good one.
I think